In 2025, remember this: not everything in your life is meant to be shared. Some things lose their power the moment you expose them. Some blessings get stolen the moment you put them on display. And some dreams die not because they weren't possible, but because you told the wrong people too soon. You see, privacy is not secrecy, privacy is protection. And in a world where everyone wants to broadcast every detail of their life, the strongest move you can make is to keep certain things private. I've learned that your life is like a garden. If you keep it open for everyone to trample, the flowers won't bloom. But if you guard it, water it quietly, and allow it to grow in silence, one day it will bear fruit for everyone to see, and no one can take credit for it but you. Not every seed needs an audience. Not every chapter needs an announcement. Not every dream needs validation. Because the truth is, when you reveal too much too soon, you invite opinions, jealousy, and doubts that you were never meant to carry. And sometimes those voices are louder than your own faith. So today, let me share with you 7 things you must keep private in 2025 if you truly want to grow, succeed, and protect your peace. 7 areas of your life that deserve your silence more than they deserve the spotlight. Because not everything sacred is meant to be shared. Some things are meant to be guarded, nurtured, and revealed only when the time is right. One of the first things you must keep private in 2025 is your financial plans. How you budget, where you invest, what you're saving for. These are not details the whole world needs to know. Because the moment you share them with everyone, you invite voices that don't belong in your journey. And those voices, they can confuse you, discourage you, even sabotage the discipline you've been building. I've seen it happen. Someone decides this year I'm going to save aggressively and build an emergency fund. Out of excitement, they announce it to friends or family. And suddenly, everyone has an opinion. Why are you saving so much? Enjoy your life. Or, what if you die tomorrow? What will happen to your money? Or worse, some will start borrowing from you because they know you're saving. Instead of encouragement, they get pressure. Instead of support, they get distraction. And many end up quitting their plan not because they were weak, but because they shared too soon with the wrong people. Your financial plans are like seeds. You don't dig them up every day to show the world. You keep them buried, hidden, nourished in silence, until one day they grow into a tree no one can deny. That's the power of privacy. It protects the process until the fruit is ready. And let's be real, money is emotional. When you tell people about your plans, you also invite comparison. If you say, I'm investing in stocks, someone will tell you about how their cousin lost money there. If you say, I'm saving for a business, someone will remind you of someone who failed. If you say, I want to retire early, some will laugh and say, that's impossible. Their doubts become your doubts. Their fear becomes your fear. And suddenly you abandon a plan that could have changed your life. So here's my advice. Guard your financial plans like treasure. You don't need to post about every budget you create or every investment you make. Instead, let your results speak for you. Let people be surprised when, years later, you buy your home debt-free, or retire early, or send your children to school without stress. Because success announced too early, attracts doubt, but success revealed at the right time commands respect. When I was starting out, I didn't talk about where I was putting my money. I didn't explain to everyone why I was living simply while others were spending. But years later, the fruits became visible not because I shouted about it, but because I stayed consistent in silence. And that taught me privacy is not hiding. Privacy is protecting. Privacy is respecting your dreams enough to let them grow quietly before the world sees them. So as you step into 2025, keep your financial plans close to your chest. Share them only with people who deserve to hear them. Mentors who will guide you, partners who will walk with you, or your closest family who truly want the best for you. But for the rest of the world, let them see the results, not the process. Because the more private you keep your plans, the stronger they become. And the more you protect your goals, the faster they grow into reality. And speaking of privacy, there's something else that deserves to stay hidden. Not your financial plans this time, but your deepest family struggles. Because not every battle in your home needs to be broadcast to the world. Some things are meant to be solved in love, not exposed in gossip. Another thing you must keep private in 2025 are your family struggles. Not every fight, not every misunderstanding, not every wound in your home needs to be broadcast to the world. Because when you open your doors too wide and let everyone peek into your problems, you're not just exposing your pain, you're also inviting judgment, gossip, and opinions that often make things worse instead of better. Families are like gardens. Every family has weeds, every family has storms, every family has seasons of drought. But the healing of a garden doesn't happen when outsiders come in and trample around. Healing happens when the gardeners, the family itself, pull out the weeds, water the roots, and nurture the soil in private. Because the truth is, outsiders will rarely see the whole picture. They'll take one scene, one story, one snapshot, and build a judgment around it. And when you let them, suddenly your family becomes a headline, not a home. I've seen people run to social media after every fight, a post about how unfair life is, a story about how a parent or sibling doesn't understand. And sure, maybe they get a few likes, a few people saying stay strong. But what happens after? The fight isn't solved. The wound isn't healed. Instead, it's now exposed to the world, where people can poke at it, replay it, and even use it against you later. What could have been a private wound with a chance to heal now becomes a public scar that never fades. Let me share this. When my family went through seasons of misunderstanding, we learned the hard way that not everyone needs to know. Because the moment we kept it within us, prayed about it, talked it out privately, gave each other grace, healing came faster. But when too many outsiders got involved, the problem grew bigger than it ever was. Because suddenly, it wasn't about solving the issue anymore, it was about protecting pride from outsiders' opinions. And that's the danger of exposing your struggles to too many eyes. You stop focusing on healing and start focusing on performing. So here's my advice. If you're struggling in your family, protect it. Work on it quietly. Seek help from trusted mentors, from people who truly want to guide, not gossip. Pray together, talk together, cry together. Because a family that can fight in private and still stay united in public is a family that survives storms. But a family that exposes every storm to the world, that's a family that invites the winds to blow harder. It doesn't mean you should pretend everything is perfect. It means you respect the sacredness of family. It means you choose to fix the cracks in the foundation instead of painting the walls for the neighbors to see. It means you believe that your family deserves healing, not headlines. And I want you to hear this clearly. The people outside don't always want to see your family restored. Some are only curious. Some are only entertained by your pain. Some will use your struggles to make themselves feel better. Don't give them that power. Don't give them your story. Guard it. Heal it. And when healing comes, let the world see not your pain but your victory. In 2025, choose privacy for your family. Because some of the most powerful testimonies are not the ones told while the wound is fresh, but the ones revealed when the scar has already healed. And when that day comes, you'll stand stronger, not because you shouted your pain, but because you protected it in silence. And just like your family struggles, there's another thing that demands privacy, your next big move. Because dreams and plans are like fragile seedlings. Announce them too early, and you risk killing them before they've had the chance to grow. The third thing you must keep private in 2025 is your next move. Your dreams, your goals, your strategies, not everyone deserves to hear them before they're ready. Because some dreams die, not because they were impossible, but because they were exposed too early to people who didn't believe in them. And sometimes, those voices echo louder than your own faith. Think of your next move like a seed. When you first plant it, it's fragile. It needs quiet, protection, and nurturing in the soil. If you dig it up too soon, just to show people, it won't survive. In the same way, when you announce your plans before they're rooted in action, you expose them to the weather of doubt, criticism, and jealousy. And that can suffocate your progress before it even begins. I remember when someone close to me said they wanted to start a business. They were so excited, they told everyone about it. And do you know what happened? Instead of encouragement, they heard things like, businesses always fail, you'll waste your money. Do you even know what you're doing? And soon, their excitement faded. Not because they didn't believe in the dream, but because they allowed others to water it with fear instead of faith. And that's why I always say, never expose your blueprint until the building is already standing. Your next move doesn't need applause. It needs discipline. It doesn't need approval. It needs consistency. Let your actions speak before your words do. Surprise the world with results, not intentions. Because when you keep your plans quiet, you give yourself the gift of focus, and focus is the currency of success. Here's a truth I've learned. The loudest people about their plans are often the quietest about their results. But the ones who work in silence, who grind behind the scenes, who keep their next move private, they're the ones who shock the world when it's done. Because privacy protects progress. Privacy protects energy. Privacy protects dreams. So, in 2025, keep your next move to yourself. Don't feel the pressure to post every step. Don't feel the need to explain every strategy. Work in silence, build in silence, grow in silence, And when the time is right, when the fruit is ready, when the victory is undeniable, let the results announce it for you. Because there is power in mystery, there is strength in silence, and there is victory in privacy. Guard your next move, nurture it in secret, and let the world see only the finished masterpiece. And just like your next move, there's another area of your life that becomes stronger when you keep it private, your acts of kindness. Because the purest kindness doesn't need an audience, it only needs a heart. The fourth thing you must keep private in 2025 are your acts of kindness. In a world where almost everything is captured, posted, and shared, we've started to lose the purity of giving. We've turned compassion into content, service into self-promotion, and kindness into a stage performance. But let me tell you, the most powerful acts of kindness are the ones no one knows about except you and God. Why? Because the moment you announce your kindness to the world, the reward shifts. Instead of touching a life, you're feeding an image. Instead of planting a seed of love, you're planting a seed of pride. And while people may clap, like, or praise you, that applause fades. But the impact of a kindness done in silence, that lasts forever in the soul of the one you helped. I've seen it so many times. People posting about giving food to the poor, about helping a friend, about donating money. And yes, maybe the intention is good. Maybe they want to inspire. But sometimes hidden deep inside, it's also about validation, about showing the world, look at me, I'm a good person. But true kindness doesn't need an audience. True kindness is complete the moment it reaches the person in need, not the moment it reaches social media. Think about this. The sun rises every day and gives us light. It doesn't post about it. The trees give us oxygen, shade, and beauty, but they don't brag about it. The rain falls and nourishes the earth, yet it doesn't demand applause. The greatest acts of service in nature happen quietly, powerfully, without the need for recognition. And that's what your kindness should look like. Quiet, consistent, life-giving, without the need for validation. I remember helping someone once who was going through a very difficult season. I didn't tell anyone, didn't take a photo, didn't post about it, and years later that person told me, I'll never forget what you did for me when no one was watching. That moment was worth more than 1,000 likes, more than any applause, because it was pure. It was real. It wasn't about me, it was about them. Here's my advice. In 2025, make your kindness sacred. Let it be something between you and your Creator, because the moment you keep it private, it carries a different weight. You don't need to announce, I helped someone today. The person who received it knows, and heaven knows, and that's enough. Because the reward of kindness is not in being seen, it's in knowing you made a difference. Don't misunderstand me. Sometimes sharing kindness can inspire others. But before you post, check your heart. Are you sharing to encourage or to be applauded? Are you shining the light on the good deed or are you shining the light on yourself? Because intention matters. And in 2025, we need more quiet givers than loud performers. And here's the beauty when you make kindness private. It strengthens your character. It trains you to give without expecting. It teaches you to love without recognition. And it fills your soul in a way that no human applause ever can. Because applause lasts for a moment, but the joy of knowing you lifted someone's burden, that joy stays with you forever. So, this year, keep your acts of kindness private. Let your left hand not know what your right hand is doing. Be the kind of person whose generosity speaks in silence, whose love moves without needing credit, whose compassion is remembered not because it was seen, but because it was felt. And just like kindness, there's another sacred part of your life that becomes stronger when it stays private, your intimate relationships. Because love that is constantly put on display is often love that seeks validation, but love that is guarded in privacy, that's the love that lasts. The fifth thing you must keep private in 2025 is your intimate relationships. Whether it's your marriage, your partner, your engagement, or even the person you are dating, not everything needs to be for public display. Because love is not proven by how loud it is online, but by how safe it feels in private. The strongest relationships are not the ones constantly on display, but the ones that are deeply rooted in trust, respect, and quiet commitment. We live in a generation where every date, every anniversary, every argument, and every reconciliation ends up on social media. And while sharing moments is not wrong, oversharing often becomes dangerous. Because the more you expose your relationship to the world, the more you invite the world into something sacred. And when the world enters, so do opinions, comparisons, and sometimes even temptations that were never meant to be there. I've seen couples who look perfect online, sweet photos, grand captions, constant posts about how happy they were. But behind the filters was a very different reality: arguments, insecurities, broken trust. And when the relationship finally ended, the same audience that once applauded became the same audience that judged. Privacy could have protected them. Privacy could have given them space to heal, to reconcile, or to move forward without shame. But oversharing made their love a performance, not a partnership. Think of love like a flame. When you cover it, protect it, and keep it safe from the wind, it grows stronger, brighter, steadier. But if you expose it too much, the winds of opinions and comparison can blow it out. Love does not need to be flaunted to be real. It only needs to be nurtured by the two hearts who hold it. Here's my advice. In 2025, protect the sacredness of your love. Keep your fights private because the world doesn't need to witness your healing. Keep your struggles private because they don't need to be gossip for others. Even your sweet moments, cherish them, but don't always feel pressured to prove them. Remember, what makes your love real is not how many likes your photo gets, but how many storms you've weathered together when no one was watching. And if you're single or dating, protect your season too. Not everyone needs to know who you're talking to, what stage you're in, or what your plans are. Because sometimes, too many voices around your love life will drown out your own clarity. The wrong opinions can make you rush, doubt, or even give up on something that was meant for you. Protect your heart. Protect your process. Protect your relationship. When I got married, I realized something very important. Our relationship wasn't for the world. It was for us. And the moment we stopped trying to prove anything to anyone, that's when the peace came. Because love that constantly needs validation will never feel enough. But love that is secure in itself doesn't need validation, it only needs commitment. So in 2025, keep your intimate relationships private. Post less, protect more. Prove less, nurture more.